Thanks for giving me a few minutes to bring you an important update about our church's plans in the midst of the growing threat of COVID-19 coronavirus. First, and once again, we hold in prayer all who suffer as a result of this pandemic, particularly those in vulnerable conditions based on age or health or employment. We find ourselves in a moment of leadership. Who will do what and when to help reduce and eventually eliminate this very real threat among us? In a moment such as this, I believe the church is called to lead. And at this moment, we know enough from the World Health Organization, the Center for Disease Control, and the Minnesota Department of Health. We know enough to know that at least for a period of time, we need to change our behavior and change the ways that we come together. So for 2 weeks, this Sunday, March 15th, and next Sunday, March 22nd, we will not be gathering together physically in the building for any of our regularly scheduled worship services. But instead, using the technologies already available to us, we will gather together through an online worship experience at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and 10:45 a.m. You simply need only go to our church website, wyzettacommunitychurch.org, at any of those times to join the experience. We're not canceling church. We are the church, you and me. We're just going to relate to one another, connect with one another in a different way for a while. Social distancing doesn't have to mean spiritual distancing. This was a hard decision for us to make because we love to worship God. It's what brought us together in the first place, way back in 1881. And we love to just be together, to learn and serve and care in the example of Jesus. But this moment isn't all about us. It's about our community, our nation, and our world. If we can do this small thing to help lessen the suffering of the world, why wouldn't we? And all along the way, I bet we'll learn some new things about the ways that God works in our lives. You know, my 2 daughters are both being sent home from their colleges for a few weeks. So our whole family might be together for a few days. One of them said to me in a text message that this virus isn't tearing us apart, it's actually bringing us together. And in a lot of ways, she's right. But that's a choice we have to make, to come together, even in ways and at times we never expected. Now, Wyzetta Community Church serves a whole community of families caring for those with special needs through our Parables worship service, which will be suspended during this time as well. We also serve a huge population of people 70 and older, so we're postponing the Big Fish musical until the end of May. And we have a whole bunch of students we love very much, so we're moving the Mexico mission trip from spring break to August 5 through 10. Although I didn't make any of these decisions on my own or in isolation, I can share with you the moment I knew we needed to take these steps. It occurred to me that, God willing, in a few months, our nation and world might be rid of this terrible virus, and no one will remember that we didn't hold worship as usual for a few weeks. But we will remember that we made a decision in the interest of other people, with love of neighbor at its core. We'll remember that in an uncertain moment, the church decided to trust God, to follow Jesus, and to help lead the way. We will continue to monitor all our sources of good information, and if full quarantine and building closures become a reality, I'll be back in touch with you again. Until then, you should check in with the leaders of any small groups, boards, or committees. And otherwise, you can expect an update from me next Wednesday in our weekly Insight email. Our staff and lay leaders are working hard to not only manage this reality as it affects our church, we've begun to anticipate the needs in the community around us and hope to offer meaningful support where we can. For your part, keep making good decisions about your own behavior and points of contact. Be that non-anxious presence for those around you And make your own preparations for our online worship experience. Check your technology, make a connection to our website, and set a quiet space somewhere in your home with a candle, with your Bible and a journal, and be open to what God is doing in you. Let us remember in this moment then, as we're connected by electrons, the same words we speak at the close of our times together in the sanctuary and chapel. And I invite you to say it with me. What does the Lord require of us? But to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with our God.